Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey there, guys. Steve Roy here, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you listening in. Before we jump into things, I want to invite you to apply to our Facebook group. We've got a free Facebook community at the Fit Dad Base Camp. You can find out more information about that at fitdadnation.com/community. Also, please take a look at our Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle, which is our private member program where we do monthly challenges and a whole lot more trying to make dads one day better. Find out more about that, fitdadnation.com/inner circle. Today, I want to share a couple of things. I have a client that I train in person. So most of what I do is online, but I still have a few clients that I see in person. And he's a 39-year-old dad. He's got a couple of small kids, and we've been working together for, 6 months or so. And so we become friends, and we were talking the other day, and it just brought back a lot of memories. When I had small kids, life is a lot different. And it's not as easy as saying, okay, buddy, here's your program. You're going to follow this 5-6 days a week. We're going to eat a nice, clean, primal diet. We're going to follow that pretty closely. We're going to dial in our sleep and drink plenty of water, right? Those things are the program itself. And if he followed those things to a T, he would see pretty amazing results. However, he's made progress, but not in a way that he could have made had he followed everything closely. And the point I want to make here is that regardless if you have just small kids, bigger kids, grown kids even, you probably have a lot going on. Giving somebody a program, a kind of a task list to do, following some kind of set of guidelines for optimal health is always great on paper, but in reality, not so much. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to use my client as an example here. A couple times a week, he gets little to no sleep because his youngest, who's less than a year, doesn't sleep, gets sick, gets a fever, whatever. You guys remember what it's like to have little kids like that. I do too. I barely got any sleep, right? So that affects lots of things, right? His energy, his motivation, his diet. He doesn't want to work out, right? He wants comfort foods, or, everything is thrown out of whack. And that happens multiple times per week. Busy schedule, runs his own business. Things pop up. It's kind of unpredictable sometimes. So stuff's always coming at him. And I don't beat him up for it and say, listen, man, you're sucking at this. You should be getting better results. Why can't you just stick to the program I gave you? Because it's not realistic to expect somebody in that position to be able to follow things like that to a T, because it's just not going to happen. And so I want you to think about this as it applies to your own life, because you may have this great strength training program, you may have this really wonderful diet that you want to follow, but your life is going to get in the way of those things. 100 out of 100 times, something is going to come up that's going to sidetrack you. Now, you can be stronger than some of the things, right? You can ride it out. You can not let those things derail you. But I'm a realist. I'm just not someone that's going to be like, listen, pussy, suck it up. Go watch David Goggins' video. That guy just ran 100 miles in the desert with, 3 ounces of water and ran it in flip-flops, right? Stop being such a pussy. I'm not gonna do that, because that's not the reality for most of us, right? We're not gonna be in that mental space. Nor do I. I don't want to be. The guy is an amazing motivator. Sure, he pushes his own limits like nobody I've ever seen, but that's not the reality for most of us. We're not going to do that. We don't want to do that. Instead, I look at things from a much more realistic standpoint of this shit is going to get in the way. I've run God knows how many challenges, programs. I've had, I don't even know how many clients I've had over the last 25 years, so many. And there's been a lot. And again, I'm not going to say all my clients have achieved their goals and everybody's lost. No, that's not the reality at all. A lot of people, a good percentage of them, didn't come close. Some have certainly just failed out. And it's because they let their life get in the way. And again, I'm not going to lay blame and I'm not going to judge and say you should have done better. I'm someone that lets my life get in the way of some things as well. It derails me sometimes. But I'm not talking about succumbing to your excuses and letting every little thing throw you off, and that's okay. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is I want you to be realistic about your goals and what you're able to do given your environment, your lifestyle, your family, your commitments. All of these things play a massive role in your ability to stick with something, right? Again, you can grind it out, no problem. Anybody can grind out a 30-day program despite any of those other factors, external factors. You can just literally just shut it down, tell your wife, hey, I'm doing this 30-day challenge, leave me alone. I'm doing the 75 hard, whatever it is. You can grind that out, and you can do well on it. And I've seen it happen many, many, many times. However, when that ends, right, there's this big weight of relief that's off of you. It comes over you, and you're like, whew, that was tough. I feel amazing. But now I can go back to living my life. And what happens? You go back to doing the things you were doing before. And before long, all those gains, the progress you made is gone. Happens way more often than not. The trick here is to find some way to build the habits that you need to have into your life that work on a long-term scale. Anything that's designed as short-term is probably not going to work long-term. It does happen, sure. And there's nothing wrong with taking a short-term approach if you need a jump start. If you are really stuck in a rut, you need a kick in the ass, you need a wake-up call, you need to change, just something has to change, right? You want to get that 10 pounds off that you haven't been able to get off forever, right? But again, once the short-term spike is over and you've done what you needed to do, again, 30-day challenge, 45-day challenge, 60-day challenge, 75 hard, whatever it is, once you're through that, you're going to go back to what you were doing before, more likely than not, at least to some extent, maybe not completely, but probably a lot more than you realize. And then all those other factors, mental and physical factors, come back into play, and then you start losing momentum, losing steam, losing that motivation, going back to eating a few more comfort foods, taking a little bit more of a break between workouts, and before you know it, you're kind of back to where you started, maybe a little bit ahead, and that's not what we're trying to do, right? What's the purpose of going through a kick-ass 30-day program if you're just going to quit everything that you just learned, go back to doing what you were doing before, and regain all the weight and lose all the strength that you just gained, right? Does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense to me. Sure, it sounds cool and it looks pretty cool and you feel good for a very short time, but you have to look at this as a long-term commitment, and I really believe that you have to go into it with that mentality. So with my client, again, back to my client, we talk about this all the time. It's how do we develop this so it works with your lifestyle? What works, what doesn't? Okay, I try to set him up on a 6-day-a-week program. It's not working because he can't get to the gym 6 days a week because of his commitments. There's just a lot of other factors, right? So that's not something that he's able to do. If I rode his ass every single day, would he do it? Maybe. But that's going to affect a lot of things, including his relationship with his wife. I don't want to put him in that position. I don't want him to have to sacrifice time with his kids because he has some other hobbies that take up a lot of time. So I have to work within his constraints, right? He also has a family close by. They go out to eat a lot. He's got an inconsistent schedule. His wife doesn't eat, terribly healthy. He's got 2 little kids that love to eat whatever, like junk and McNuggets and stuff. And so that struggle is always present too. And so on paper, I tell him what to eat and this is what we're doing. But maybe he hits that 70% of the time, 60% of the time, because those things are constantly pulling at him. He's always torn, do I go out to eat with my family where, we're going to go have a good time, but there aren't that many great options, and I end up eating probably stuff I shouldn't, or should I suck it up and not eat at all, or eat something beforehand, or say I'm not going, right? So those are the conversations that he's having, and those are the conversations that you're having also. And it's significant because I'm not going to tell you, well, you just need to follow the program because that's what I said is going to work. No, that's not the right thing to do for you, right? Yes, you probably would get results faster following what I said, but at what cost, right? What do you have to sacrifice to get there? And to me, that's not worth it. Why sacrifice family time, quality time, going to different functions or parties or events that have things you shouldn't be eating or drinking, that type of stuff. Why are you going to sacrifice all of that just in the name of losing a few pounds or getting a little bit stronger, right? No, I don't believe that is the right way to look at it. Some people would disagree. That's okay. But that's how I believe is an ineffective way to approach a situation, not just from my standpoint, obviously I'm not going to be coaching everybody that listens to the show. So when you're on your own, you don't have to be like, oh, damn, I have to give up everything that I love to do. I can't go out to eat anymore. Can't go out for beers with my buddies, blah, blah, blah. Right? Nobody wants to live like that. Are you going to have to make some sacrifices to change your body? Yes, of course you do. You're going to have to make some sacrifices, but it doesn't have to be all or none, and you don't have to shun your family. You don't have to have a completely separate shelf of food only for you, and everything revolves around this special shelf of food that you only are allowed to eat, and everybody else is eating one meal. You're eating something else, right? Again, people do that. I've done it in certain situations, but I don't advise it because it sucks and people don't want to do stuff that sucks. Yes, going through a Tough Mudder sucks, or training for a triathlon sucks, right? But we gravitate towards the path of least resistance, and I'm not saying that's great because, honestly, I believe our society is just pathetically weak physically and mentally. But I'm just coming from a standpoint of pure experience and seeing how the human brain works, what we do, right? I can preach it all day long, be stronger, be stronger, be stronger, be strong. But I'm just looking at hundreds, if not thousands, of case studies of people that are battling daily life, and I can't just plug and play and say, do this, follow it all, and you'll get results. And yes, they will, but how realistic is that they're going to follow all of those things for an extended period of time? Very slim. We're setting them up for failure, and that isn't, we don't want to do that. And don't set yourself up for failure when you start something. I understand that making time for yourself is challenging. I understand that working out can be difficult. I understand that changing your diet, eating healthy foods instead of the stuff you want, is difficult. But so is being fat and weak, right? And I honestly believe there's a medium there where you can incorporate healthy habits into your existing lifestyle without completely revamping everything that you do, destroying relationships, alienating your wife and kids because you have to go to the gym and you have to follow this strict meal plan, or you're fasting for 16 hours a day and you can't eat because then they're eating. Right, you don't have to do any of that stuff. Again, do those things work? They can, sure. But I don't think that it's necessary. And I think that it's just not healthy for you to take that approach when going into it. So I want you to just recognize a couple things. One, it's going to take sacrifice. Some sacrifice to change your body, to change your mental strength, right? To become physically stronger, mentally stronger. If you want to lose weight, and let's be honest, most guys that listen to the show want to lose weight. They want to add lean muscle. They want to be more muscular, right? They want to be stronger, want to have better stamina. They want to be better in bed. They want to have more confidence, right? They want their wife to be just can't keep their hands off of them, right? We want those things, and they absolutely are possible, But I'm saying is I have to just come at you with the realistic approach of what's on paper isn't going to correlate and translate to your lifestyle because you have so much going on, right? I have one set of friends. They have 4 kids that are all active in sports, like multiple sports. They both have full-time jobs, and they are on the go more than anyone I've ever met in my life. I mean, tournaments all over the country, driving, flying. They have one of them is always taking one or two of them one place. They've got other family members coming to help out. Like it's pure, to me, it's just pure chaos. There's so much going on with the sports and the kids. And so trying to talk to him, he's a middle-aged dad who's been up and down with weight, struggles to stay consistent like most other guys. I'm not going to give this guy a program that requires him to train for an hour, 5 or 6 days a week, and follow a diet closely. He's on the road so much. He's at ball fields, and it would be absolutely ridiculous for me to expect him to stick to that. And if he tried, he would drive himself fucking crazy because it's extremely difficult to do that with all these things going on in your life. You got to remember now all of a sudden you've got to go shopping, you've got to prep, you've got to package it up, you've got to put it in a cooler, you've got to carry the cooler with you, you've got to eat at the right times. You know, he's coaching some of these teams. It's madness, right? His life is madness. And of course, he would love to lose 20 pounds and be way stronger and fitter, right? His lifestyle is working against him in a big, big way. But what are you going to tell that guy? Just like, any number of you listening to the show, what can I tell you there? Make some changes, right? Do a few things here and there. They're going to make things easier for you to get to where you want to go. I'm not going to give you a piece of paper that says, here are your 5 meal times. You're going to have 6 egg whites for breakfast with a half cup of oatmeal. That's fucking crazy. People do that all the time thinking that that's the solution. I've seen coaches preaching this stuff. It's absolutely insane to me. And if it was a 21-year-old client of mine who was single and had no commitments, hell yes, he's going to get that program, and I'm going to be on him about it. But this is like a 45, 6-year-old guy with a million things going on, and his kids pulling him in every direction. That's absolutely unrealistic, setting him up for a complete failure. And I'd be failing as a coach if I said, boom, here you go, buddy. Here's your program. Talk to me in 30 days. If you haven't lost 15 and 20 pounds, you failed. No, that's insanity. But people do that, but people also put that kind of expectations on themselves. So just recognize, man, I got a lot of shit going on in my life. And then work within those parameters. Okay? Make a few small changes. Something is better than nothing, right? Just kick the soda, or drink 1 less soda per day. Okay? Take an extra 20-minute walk if you could squeeze it in. Get those extra steps in, right? Instead of sitting in the car waiting for your kid to finish with school and then you could drive them home, get out of the car, walk for 15, 20 minutes, get back in your car. You've gotten a little bit of extra exercise, right? Instead of stopping at McDonald's and pigging out with your family after a ball game, you can do a couple things. What? Practice fasting if you want. If you're starving, just make a different choice. Virtually every fast food place has a better option than a Big Mac meal with a large Coke and a strawberry pie or whatever that is. There's always a better, not always a good option, but there's always a better option. Is it harder to do that because you want that Big Mac? Absolutely. I love Big Mac as much as anybody. But if you make a better choice, maybe you just get 1 cheeseburger instead. Cut the calories in half, and that's your start, right? Just things like that will make a difference. Cutting back on drinking. Most of my friends in their 40s and 50s, they're drinkers. They enjoy having cocktails multiple times per week. I'm not a drinker. I don't get it, the need to do that so much, but that's just me. But most people, I'm in the minority. Most guys like to have their beers, their whiskey, whatever. Just cutting back. Again, I would never ask someone that truly enjoys social drinking and does it a lot, which most of my friends are, cut back. Scale it back. And even change the drink that you're drinking. Maybe it has fewer calories. Have 2 fewer beers each night instead of having 7 or 8. Have 4, 5, 6, right? Whatever it is. Small things like that are going to add up, and over time, even as short as a month or so, you can see, quite a bit of a difference. And again, and you haven't totally revamped your entire lifestyle. You have hardly done anything. You've made a few small sacrifices. You've done a couple things that, maybe were out of your comfort zone a little bit, but you're making progress and it works within your lifestyle. If you're someone that has to go all in and it works for you, then do it, right? Some people can do that. I'm speaking to the masses of people who don't have that luxury of flipping a switch. And I am one of those people that can do that because this is what I do for a living. I work from home. It's a lot easier for me. There's a grocery store literally within 2 minutes from my house that I can shop every day. I can cook every day. I can do all of those things. My gym is my garage, which is 7 steps away from where I'm recording this show right now. So everything is really ideal for me. So I can do that. I can flip a switch and say, this is what I'm doing. But for most people, it's way too much work. And it's, again, in the short term, you can make it work. In the long term, you're going to lose. So just keep that in mind, guys. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from starting something, from kicking ass, from committing to something. That's not my intention at all with this show. It's really to come from a place of being realistic, because you have to take an honest and hard look at your lifestyle, where you're at, what you're actually capable and willing to do, and what's going to work for you on a long-term basis, and then start there instead of just trying to go balls to the wall. So if you have questions about that stuff, I talk about this stuff all the time in the inner circle, trying to help guys make sense of all this and make a plan work for them given their life. So take a look at the inner circle, fitdadnation.com/inner circle. We'll catch up next time.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.